Hey friends, this video is for people like myself who have had the experience of having friends from out of town come in, and before they arrive, I would go through the house and make sure that everything is neat and clean and tidy and orderly. And I'm not really super keen on house cleaning, so I don't enjoy doing that, and it can be a little stressful, especially if there's a fair amount of chaos and disorder. I can become overwhelmed. I look at this stuff and think, what do I do with all of this? I don't even know where to put it. I think that's a pretty stressful situation. And so I'd like to share with you how I maintain a clean and neat and tidy home, even though my nature isn't necessarily orderly and clean and neat. I'm a little bit chaotic and I don't always put things away. And I don't enjoy house cleaning. And so here's what I do to reduce the stress of having a disorderly home and avoid the episodes of serious house cleaning, which I also would like to avoid. And so this is a method that makes keeping a neat and orderly home pretty painless. It's following a simple little protocol that I do, which is throughout the day, multiple times a day, I get up and I go from one place in the house to another. I might get up and go to the restroom, or go down to the kitchen, or maybe go out in the garage and grab a tool. Well, every time I get up, I do one item of house cleaning. I just have to pick up and put away one item. I don't have to worry about the mess. I just scan around the room and say, is anything out of place? Is there anything that really should be in a different room or a different place than it is? And there might be a lot of things that are out of place, but I just have to pick one. And so, for example, if I'm going to the kitchen, I'll look around and say, is there anything here that should go to the kitchen? Ideally, that would be the thing to grab. And so I look down and I say, oh, I've got a cup and a saucer sitting here that should go. And so I could just grab the cup, or I could just grab the saucer. I just need to grab one thing. But of course, in this case, practical reasons, I'll grab both. I mean, they're right there. And so I'll grab that cup and saucer and I'll take them down to the kitchen and set them in the sink to be washed later. And now I've tidied up one thing, and that satisfies the requirement. Now, if I find myself in the situation where everything is already pretty tidy, and I look around the room and I say, gee, there's really nothing for me to pick up, well, then I can just go to the kitchen and look around in that area and clean up one thing. If the whole house is getting pretty tidy, and there isn't really anything to put away, well, at that point, I will switch over to a cleaning. And so instead of putting something away, I'll grab a rag and I'll wipe off a surface. I'll clean a window. I might sweep the floor. Any kind of cleanup is okay. I just have to do one little thing every time I move. And by doing that, it only takes a few seconds, and it's not a big deal, and I don't consider it stressful at all. And I'm not faced with the issue where I'm looking at a whole bunch of clutter thinking, what do I even do with this stuff? Because when I'm just looking at one single thing, well, I can usually figure out what to do with any one thing. Now, one of the other little rules in my game is that you have to actually clean it up. You can't just sweep some dirt under the rug or just sweep some junk into a drawer and get it out of view. You have to really put it away where it belongs. So if there's some nuts and bolts and a screwdriver sitting on the table, I'll sweep up that extra hardware, take it to the hardware bin, and put it into its proper jar. I'll take the screwdriver and put it back in the toolbox where it belongs. I have to actually put it away. And so by doing this, I'm doing a little tiny bit of cleanup every time I move around the house. And it just takes a second, there's no stress, and over a pretty short period of time, I find that the house is getting more and more cleaned up and more manageable, and then I don't have the stress of being in a cluttered environment, or when people are going to come to visit, I don't have the stress of thinking I need to run around the house and make sure everything's tidy, because it maintains itself that way. And like I mentioned, I tend to be a bit of a chaotic individual. It's not my nature to keep things clean. But by following this little simple set of rules, this little simple protocol, I do a pretty good job of keeping the house from getting too chaotic. I don't know if it'll work for you, but it seems to work for me. So if you want to keep your place neat and clean and tidy, and it's not your nature to do so, well, maybe by picking up this little habit, it'll help your life be more organized and less stressful. Just a quick tip for you, something that works for me. Maybe it works for you. Glad you tuned in and watched the video. If you enjoy the videos, I would appreciate it if you'd take a second and subscribe. If you choose to subscribe, I'd also suggest that you hit the bell icon so you're notified when new content drops. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you again soon.